Hi, welcome back to Halloween House. So we're coming to you today on Valentine's Day.
Love. It brings love.
Or it should be second Halloween.
We need a winter Halloween. Do away with Valentine's Day.
Because here at Halloween House, every day is Halloween.
Indeed.
But we're going to talk today about an event that happened in Chicago back in 1929 on Valentine's Day. You may have heard of it, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And just going to explore some information about that and see what we come up with.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yes. All right, so we're going to travel back in time. We're going to 1929 Chicago, and we're going to be on Clark Street.
At the SMC Garage Cartage. This may have been a headquarters gathering place, somewhere where they regularly picked up shipments. We're really not quite clear on that.
Might have just been a garage.
Exactly. It was probably some sort of front.
Yes, and this is definitely part of Bugs Moran's empire. So his guys showed up there. He was supposed to be there that morning.
Yes, he was.
He was running late. And while they were in the garage, a black Cadillac pulled up. And witnesses said that this was a cop car and that several police officers got out and they proceeded into the garage.
And back then it was definitely a police car. There wasn't hundreds of different vehicles like there are today. You knew a police car when you saw it. And when the gentleman did exit the police car, they were dressed in police uniform.
Yes. And they didn't have the undercover police cars either. That could be anything from a car to a pickup truck. So yes. You knew it was a police car. So now the men came into the building. They were dressed as police officers. And the mobsters saw them come in. Probably didn't think too much of it. Routine raid.
Yeah, they figured it was just going to be the situation they encountered many times before. They just bribed the police officers and everybody goes about their business.
Yes, but this time was a little different. Or a lot different.
Much different, yes.
They were lined up against the wall. And Tommy guns and shotguns were pulled, and they were mowed down.
Yes, they were. There was one survivor that was still alive when what we know as the real police showed up. And he had some interesting final words when asked who shot him.
Frank Gusenberg said, "No one. Nobody shot me."
So
those are some quite interesting last words.
Yes.
But that's what his code was, and that's what he wanted to tell them. So they were unfortunately, all 7 perished. And the police now had to start trying to figure out who did this crime. So there's many different reasons that the men may have been in this garage in the first place. The biggest one is they were probably thinking that they were there to receive a shipment.
Whether the shipment was fake or not, we don't know. There could have actually been a shipment they were waiting for, or it could have just been a setup to get them in the garage.
Exactly. And the perpetrators could have had many reasons to be coming to the garage. They may have known about this shipment as well and wanted to steal it from them, which was very common. The gangs were always stealing from each other, in addition to killing each other and competing with each other. It could also have been for revenge because they stole from them.
Yeah.
And so they could have been lured there thinking there was a shipment and got set up.
Yeah.
Now,
Prohibition was a ruthless business.
Yeah.
Ruthless.
The movies show you all the fun drinking and dancing, but behind the scenes, it was not a pretty sight.
No, not at all. Very violent.
Yeah. The police had a lot to go on. Unfortunately, they were probably pulling their hair out because with the nature of being in these gangs, there was a lot of reasons people might be after you.
A lot of good suspects. You couldn't rule anyone out.
Yeah. And the biggest 4 were pretty big reasons that they could have been a suspect.
The most interesting suspect was actually Bugs Moran himself.
Yeah.
Who was supposed to be there, but somehow conveniently was running late and somehow missed his own murder.
Yes.
So
he could have been angry at some of his guys. Some of them may have been going too far with different things, and he might have been feeling that he was going to be pinched, so he may have wanted to take a few people out.
Yep.
Or Lord only knows.
Yeah.
Another big suspect that was in the headlines was Mr. Al Capone.
Of course.
Now, Al Capone was conveniently in Dade County, Florida, in a courtroom.
That doesn't mean he couldn't have ordered these executions.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a smart guy. Of course, he'd be out of state when the murders took place. He's not going to stick around for it if he ordered it.
Yeah, and him and Bugs Moran's gangs were going back and forth doing hits. At one point,
Very
Bugs
heavy
Moran
rivalry.
Had 6 vehicles drive past a building that Al Capone was having lunch, and they shot more than 1,000 bullets into that building trying to get him. So this could definitely be revenge for something like that, or stealing whiskey trucks, guns, whatever.
Money.
Edging in on their gambling empires.
Too much competition. Could have been anything.
Yeah. There's another one, the gang from Michigan. They were called the Purple Gang.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that was another one where they were going back and forth stealing whiskey trucks.
From each other.
So that could have been another revenge piece.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one that's really interesting. And a big suspect were some crooked cops. These crooked cops were also running whiskey. And Moran's gang had recently stolen a whiskey truck from them. And the fact that there was a police car and people in police uniform really points to the fact that they might have been involved in this.
It very, very well could have been crooked cops.
And back in the day, I mean, the lure of that money was big.
Yes.
So you may have started out being an upstanding police officer, but that money, boy, you could help your family out. You could really do a lot. At
the time, we were headed right for the Depression and everything, so you had to do what you had to do to survive back then.
Yep.
And if that was running illegal guns or alcohol, then that's what you did.
Yeah.
You know, if you had family to feed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, all of this happened in 1929, and amazingly, that garage was not torn down until 1967. I can't imagine how many gawkers they had going over there, wanting to look at the wall.
Probably, or who would even want to own it? And, I don't know.
Yeah, it had to have some bad vibes in there.
Definitely.
I mean, this was a really brutal incident that happened. It wasn't just a single little thing. This was a really bad attack.
Yeah.
The location of that building is now in a parking lot in a senior center. Some of the seniors do report different apparitions and things going on. Yeah. But beyond that, that's all that's left is just a parking lot.
Yeah. Now, when the building was torn down, some people did try to sell bricks from the wall, and that didn't go too well for them because apparently the bricks were cursed.
Yeah, they had all kinds
would have it.
Health and family problems that followed them after they tried to do that. So they eventually stopped trying to sell the bricks. And the wall actually has been reassembled and is on display in Las Vegas at the Mob Museum.
And I've actually been to the Mob Museum in Vegas, but I do not recall seeing the wall. And I don't know if it's just because I wasn't looking for it or I forgot that I saw it. But it is a really cool museum. If you're ever out in Vegas, go ahead and take a walk around. It's very interesting. So that is the story of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yes. Glad we weren't there.
Yeah, glad we weren't there. So happy Valentine's Day, or as we like to call it, Winter Halloween.
Yes.
So thank you.
Spooky.
And thank you very much for watching, and please hit that subscribe button. Stay spooky.